Today I will be writing a drum cadence in the dumbest possible way. We are going to spin the wheel to randomly decide a rudiment or a measure of music or a cymbal technique. And we will see what happens. I feel like this will be interesting to say the least. So here's the template for the sheet music. It's entitled "This Was a Bad Idea," and that's just so I can put that in the title of the thumbnail. Starts out with tap off and we go into 8 bars that'll be randomly written, and then we have this feature section. We got 2 and 4 clicks everywhere except for we're gonna do 2-bar snare feature, 2-bar tenor feature, 2-bar bass feature, 2-bar cymbal feature. Then we have another 8 bars and a downbeat release. So let's get to the madness. Starting with the second bar, tap off is a snare solo, and we will do flam tap. Oh, I thought we were about to get flam tap again. We got check pattern number 9. Yes, you gotta know your check patterns here. So number 9 is E, and we have a E already, so I guess we will just put the in. Pada fla fla. This wheel is not being very random. We just went like in order like that. Okay, good. We're on the other side of the wheel. Paradiddle diddle. I think this one we can do a sextuplet, or we could do 30 seconds. So many options. I'll do 30 seconds because it's solo tap off. You're gonna need some chops in there. Oh, we got good old grandma. Let's go. I think we're gonna have one more. Let's see what we get. Ah, perfect. That'll fit right in there. Flam 5. So this was a flam tap, so we'll stay true to that. Pata fla fla paradiddle diddle grandma flam 5. This flam is gonna be awkward. I think I'm just gonna have to take that one out. Yeah, anything that is gonna be super awkward or not possible, we'll have to make adjustments as we go. Well, we might as well see how this sounds so far. Yeah, this is pretty groovy at the beginning of the tap off, and this is just like a complete ram of notes, but that's what we get when we write in this weird way. So moving on to measure number 1. Oh yes, starting with singles. I love it. Book report. Check pattern number 2. Flam tap. Oh, Tachutta just made it in there. I actually like that combination a lot, the flam tap into Tachutta. See, we're figuring out new things, some unusual combinations that I might not usually write. So that's the gist of how I'm doing this, so I'm just gonna time-lapse the rest of the snare drum part. We got all kinds of rudiments, all kinds of craziness, and there we go. That's the finished snare drum part. And now we will move on to the tenors. So the tenor part, I am going to pretty much write the exact same way as the snare part. So we're starting here right after the tap off, and we will start with check pattern number 3. 1 E and And I'm just gonna write this all out on just one drum at first, and we're gonna go back and put some rounds in later, but let's keep going. Check 7. We are going with all the check patterns here in the tenor part right away. 1 E and Okay, here's a time lapse of me doing the rest of the tenor part, just selecting rudiments randomly and putting them in there and trying to line it up as best I can, and there we go, the snare and tenor part. Obviously, we can't have the tenor drum part be on just one drum. Okay, that's really boring and lame. So what we're gonna do is a little throwback to the Random Lick series video. I used a 6-sided dice in the last time we did this, but now we're going to use technology with the random number generator powered by Google. So we're gonna just click generate, and we get 4, so we're gonna put that on drum 4 will be the first note. Oh, look, it's already there. And we got 5, and that's gonna be the 8-inch Spock drum. Okay, we're gonna do drums 1, 2, 3, 4 will represent that drum, 6 will be the 6-inch Spock, and 5 will be the 8-inch Spock. 4 again, okay, we already have that. 1, 2, and then the grace note of the flam, I am going to determine that myself afterwards, okay? Doing that randomly, that made the random tenor like a complete nightmare for me, so I will be the judge of the grace notes as soon as we finish the bar out here. 1, 4, 1, 3, 6, and 6 again. Okay, so now I'm busting out the tenor pad here, and I'm gonna figure out what the sticking is based off of these drums we got. So let's see, we got 4, low Spock, 4, 1, 2, 1, Oh, that actually works out pretty well, to be honest. Alright, so we're gonna put that grace note on drum 1, because that makes sense. And that's how we're gonna do this whole thing. Randomly rolling the numbers and then figuring out the sticking. And I do realize that doing the sticking this way, that might change some of the rudiments that were originally drafted, but we'll be alright, it's okay. It's close enough. We're going for the rhythms and comfortable-ish sticking. And there we go! We are done the tenor part. The way we're gonna write the bass drum part is by using these 32 little bass drum licks that I wrote. We're going back to the wheel of names to draw which measure lick we're gonna use, and also there's a few check patterns thrown in here. If we get a check pattern, that will be unison. So first up, we are going to have measure 29, solid measure. And we're just gonna copy paste from this MuseScore document into the score. Well, that actually lines up with the snare singles. Yes, things are working out here. Our next bass lick, measure 10. 7, 8, 9, 10, bass 5. Oh, that lines up with this tenor part. And then we are going to have check pattern number 8. You guys know your check patterns? Well, if you don't, then number 8 is 1 E end. And well, you get the gist of it. That's how we're doing the bass part. I am hoping it will line up with the snare and or tenor part. I guess we'll find out at the end, but well, there we go. That's the snare, tenor, and bass part done so far. And finally, we are moving on to the cymbals. So once again, we are busting out the wheel of names, and we have a few different cymbal techniques here. And whatever cymbal technique the wheel picks, we are just going to plug it into the sheet music going chronologically from top to bottom, and I'm gonna decide where that technique should go rhythmically. Our first cymbal technique is going to be, thank goodness, oh yes, starting off strong with a crash. And next we got a muted tap. I have no idea where I'm going to put that. Let's see. If we do a unison crash, it's going to take them a second to get to the other position. And by them, I mean me. Or the crash could be just 2 people. We can put that muted tap on beat 2, I suppose. Might have to go back and change that, but let's see what happens next. Crash choke. This is definitely a big note. Snares and tenors both have that E. We'll make that muted tap line up with the end of 4. That's where the bass drums and tenors release. And then that crash choke, we are going to put that guy on the E of beat 1. Man, there's a lot of thought going into this. This is definitely the hardest one in terms of, you know, actually thinking for myself. So that's how we're doing this cymbal part. Welcome to another time lapse. And yeah, this one probably took the most effort by far to get this part, but yeah, as we go, we got to make things line up. And I did make the cymbal feature the most dense part because, well, it's a cymbal feature, and then everything just lined up to everything above it. But okay, there we go. The entire cadence is finished. I wonder how this is going to sound. Let's find out right now. Well, that actually sounded pretty good for the most part. A lot of stuff actually lined up. I was surprised with how well this actually turned out. Compose a comment with what you think about this. Make sure you click here to see some more random licks, and have a good morning.